And welcome everybody to another exciting night of Tech Thursday. I am your host, Akeem Sanders, and we have a live with us, joining us as our special guest as we talk about technology and COVID-19. Without further ado, I will introduce our guest. Good, welcome, Dwayne.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Thanks for joining us tonight. Are you there?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm
So
here. I'm
first,
here. I can hear you.
okay, great. So first and foremost, welcome, Dwayne. How has it been for you and your family? Are you guys locked down? Are you one of those privileged persons to be roaming the streets?
Nah, ain't no road for me. We lock down, lock around, and lock in. you know, uh, Due to the nature of my job, I'm exempted, but I haven't really been anywhere. I think today I left the house for maybe 10 minutes and came back, but I haven't moved at all. Pretty much, to be honest with you.
Okay, okay. Sounds good. So I want to talk about that and some more because you work in Alive, and I think Alive is the innovative telecommunications company in the Bahamas, and you spearheading the technical team on that side. Uh, Being in IT, you guys have the luxury from working from home, so to speak, right?
So to speak, yeah. We were able to rapidly deploy from home working pretty much immediately, based on how
Okay.
we built the network. Because with us, basically, we use our cell phones for everything, and everybody has a laptop, so it was easy to migrate home from the office setting.
Okay, sounds great. What are some of the challenges that Alive may have faced? So, what are some of the challenges the world has faced as relates to technology, and more so as a service provider during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, and persons now being able to, I guess, lock down from home, and now the internet and technology is the next best thing. How has that been for a life and your counterparts around the world?
If you look at it globally, there's been a massive uptick for data, right? It's not data to do homework or data to browse. It's basically streaming data, right? Persons at home and persons want to do Netflix, they want to do YouTube. Um, then there's been a lot of demand for persons to work from home utilizing like Zoom or Teams or Skype for business, But the reality is that the network's been taking, quite a hit because the data demand is crazy. And I think when you look at it, I think the evening hours between like 7, 8 o'clock until about 11 or midnight is the worst. Because I think as people during the day, I think people now that the lockdown has lifted, meaning that persons don't everything's open, persons will see better performance during the day because more persons on the road. But when you see the hours hit right now, like right now, everybody's basically going in or should be in now preparing for the 9 o'clock curfew.
Right.
And then I think that's when you see an explosion. But the more data you add, the more demand you get, right? You add data, you get more use. It's a thing that we're managing every single day, every day. Only on their live, and also on Cable Bahamas with the home internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get people call say, "Oh, my child needs to do his homework 9, 10 o'clock at night," and he's like, "Yeah." In other words, you want to get on to do some YouTube or maybe do some Netflix,
Right.
and and I think yeah, and I think that's what's been hammering the network lately.
Okay. So all right. So it sounds good. So are your kids doing homework and all that other good stuff? Do they have homework? Or is it like an excuse for persons to use Netflix and YouTube?
No, my daughter was evacuated from Canada from school before Canada shut down its borders. She came on that Wednesday self quarantine, and then that Sunday they stop allowing persons to come out. So she's
Okay.
doing her online classes. I know this morning she had an online exam. My son, his school went fully online. I think the first week of lockdown, the first 2.5, maybe 3 days, they were giving us work for him to do, but by the third day and into this week, that he
Hmm.
goes on like 9 a.m. Then he takes like a 10:30 break to give him work to do. He has lunch, then he's back on at 1:30 by 3. And he uploads his work online. But then again, he goes to a private school with smaller, so I guess it might be easier for them. But he's
Sure.
online 5 days a week. And what's so amazing is how independent he is. He's in grade 4, so he goes on, he does his work.
Hmm.
Of course, you got to keep him focused as usual.
Right.
But everybody's working online, and then for me, as you can see in my home office, so I'm working from my office as well too.
Right. 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 How was the I mean, I try. Well, I'm gonna ask the question. How was working from home work for you?
Well, for me, it's good and bad. I mean, good in the fact that prior to going to live, I've had my own business for 10 years, so
Okay.
I've always worked the first 3 years of my business myself and an assistant work out of my home office for like 4 years or
Okay.
3 years, 3.5 years. And then as the business grew, I then decided to get co-location space at a location on Rosetta Street. So, but during the summer months, when the kids are home, you don't have to get up early, you don't have to drop school, and try to come in my office and work. So for me, the routine is I wake up early, I hit the treadmill, try to do like 2 or 3 miles, then I come in my office. So working from home for me is good. The only thing is I have such a big team.
Right.
So on a daily basis, I manage like 33 persons, right? So between a live and my private business and my son, so it's a lot going on, right? You got calls all day, you're checking in on people. Working from home is still relatively new to the Bahamas, so a lot of persons you still gotta keep them in that frame of mind that hey, we're working. So for me, it's amazing. I've been working from home now almost 3 weeks, going on to a month because the week leading into the lockdown, I had a bad sinus infection, so I stayed out of the office. So I went to work that Monday for the first day. We shut down, so I've been back home working. So I haven't missed a beat at all.
All right. Sounds good. But you have that sinus under control, yes?
Yeah, you know how it is. You never get sinus under control. My biggest thing is I'm a coffee drinker, so I
Right.
love milk. So I drink a lot of dairy, and
Sure.
dairy is one of the big things that deals with sinuses. But I'm coping with
Yeah.
it. It's not.
All right. So we have a question coming in asking what is your position at Alive?
Right now, I'm the CIO, I'm the Chief Information Officer. So basically, I manage, my team and I manage the technology platform. So we were responsible for all. If you have a live device, we basically manage to support that. We help with the provisioning of that. We help with the app. We deal with all the plans, all the purchases, all the prepaid, the postpaid, the billing, the private network, the app, the website. So pretty much we run everything on the inside of the business.
All right. So you have an awesome task.
My team and I, yeah,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
me, not me specifically, but yeah, we do. We have a
Right.
lot to. I mean, there's a lot. Um, I mean, basically every single thing on the inside we touch and we manage,
Yes.
which is pretty good.
Yep. So I know a few weeks ago you guys fully merged with I know well Kia Bahamas was ever your parent company, but I think now the merger between Alive and Kia Bahamas fully came together and offer a sort of a one-stop solution for mobile and for residential or office stuff. How was that um, sort of new cohesiveness, new relationship been during this sort of COVID-19 times?
Well, but when you look at consolidation, we have our corporate department consolidated, right? The retail side of the business is still independent with Alive, with Damon Blackburn as the CEO. But then the corporate side of Alive, which you'll call your postpaid for businesses. So now what that did was actually was pretty powerful because what it did was it allowed customers now to have a one-stop shop if they want um, business fiber, if they wanted phone services, PBX, small phone services, they want, or if they want a mobile service. They offer something called business in a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the business in the box means that if you're a small businessman, you could go in the business, they give you a line of that sort of line lines that affordable, as well as they can give you off the top of that, you got the whole backbone of Alive that Uncable Bahamas that supports you. If you look at, as well as our engineering teams came together as well too, right? When you look at the network and the management of the network. You would not believe that this is managed by young Bahamians. I think some of the oldest guys, those guys as young as 20 something all the way up to, early 40s, and they work alongside Huawei and all of our other engineers and Juniper and so forth. But the network that brought us through Hurricane Dorian, the network that's taken us through this pandemic, is basically young Bahamian engineers. The good thing we did was on the Alive side was when we built and when we came to existence in 2016, we hired what we call engineer apprentices, and they worked alongside engineers. So 2 years ago, all the majority of the engineers left the Bahamas, and they pretty much left the young Bahamians in charge of the business. So it's proud to work alongside these guys. They're smart, they're intelligent, they know way more than me, right? Because their brains are younger than mine. So
Right.
we rely on them quite a bit.
Right. Right. All
uh,
right. So, sounds good. Sounds good. I mean, I know earlier this week you took it to Facebook, and you was giving some tips to persons who face, I guess, network congestion, who always complaining, but they trying to have a Skype or a Zoom meeting, and you had given out some tips in regards to how to help them manage this new virtual way of living. Do you care to share some of those tips on this show?
sure. What we did was yesterday morning I got up and I was on the treadmill, and I normally watch CBS Sunday morning, and one of the things that came up was the impact that's on the world right now as it relates to data, people wanting data, right? One of the things I said is that first of all, the Bahamas is not in this by itself, right? This is impacting everybody. But the thing that a lot of Bahamians need to realize, because people think because we're on an island that we don't have the level of technology, but the LTE 4G technology in the Bahamas is probably one of the best in this region, in the Caribbean region, when you look at it, right?
Right.
Um, so some of the things I said, for example, if you're locked down during the quarantine, right? One of the things that you would note is that people are getting frustrated, right? Person like, oh, I'm paying for this data, I'm not getting it. But the issue that most persons are having really is congestions that could be avoided. For
Hmm.
example, a lot of persons like YouTube. If you go into YouTube right now, you notice that what YouTube did due to the global demand, it dropped the quality of the video from 1080p down to 480p. People say, what is that? 1080p is high HD definition,
Yeah.
right? So 480p will be the low end of HD, but doesn't require as much bandwidth,
Correct.
right? Another issue is everybody wants to watch Netflix. Now, a lot of persons really may use Netflix on their tablet, their phone, or maybe their computers. But
Hmm.
Netflix has a feature where you can download the movies which you want to watch. I think it stays current for a couple of days on your device, and then you can watch them offline, no buffering, and then you have the demand on the network, right? It seems like the new thing nowadays is everybody want to go live on Facebook,
Right.
right? Facebook Live also takes data. So what it does for you is, it also kills a lot of data and takes a lot of data off the network. Um, if you're doing stuff like email, if you're chatting, if you're downloading a photo from Facebook, I mean, from Instagram or from WhatsApp. If you download a document or a photo or image from WhatsApp, it's going to download. But
Yeah.
when you make a WhatsApp call, you may get that buffer as well too,
Right.
right? I also told persons if you're working from home, if you're using Zoom or you're using Microsoft Teams, turn off the video. The voice traffic uses much less data
That's yeah.
than a video call would. Like right now, you and I are streaming live. So
Right.
right now in my neighborhood, probably another one very very important thing. In the Bahamas, there's something called congestion.
So
Congestion,
actually,
right?
I just lost you just now, and the audience just lost you.
All right, I'm back now.
Yes.
Okay, there's something called congestion.
Hmm.
Congestion means that if I live in a neighborhood with a hell of a lot of people, everybody in that neighborhood is trying to do the exact same thing,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's trying to do YouTube or everyone's trying to do Netflix. So what happens is that the more persons that get on the, let's say, the cellular network, the less traffic that's available. So what it does is that it slows down your connectivity and it impacts it, right? Unfortunately, networks around the world experience that. The Bahamas may see it more now because everybody is home.
Oh, yeah.
Normally, on any given night, people would be spread all over the place, so you'd be bouncing off different towers. But if you have a couple hundred people, a couple thousand people in one area, all attaching to the same tower, at some point something's going to give,
Yeah.
right? So that's what a lot of people are experiencing right now. Is that it has nothing to do with the network. It's just that there's a lot of persons in that neighborhood using that data. So this people may say, well, add more bandwidth. The more bandwidth you add, the more bandwidth they're going to consume,
Yeah.
right? So you may say, hey, well, why didn't you build a network knowing this? Actually, we did. We built the network knowing that we have congestion, but nobody built the network to know that you're going to have 200 plus thousand persons on an island, all sitting at home, all in one area, all trying to basically access the same amount of data.
Right. Right. You raise some valid points, right? I want to carry the conversation slightly to a different direction. Because I see there's a new trend around the world, such as Italy, such as China, and I think the US is now launching what they could consider 5G.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of, I guess, misinformed information, and then there's some truth to the information that relates to the 5G technology. Given this pandemic that we now face, right? Given the information that's out there as relates to 5G, and you don't have to, you could just speak broadly. Do you think that it is something for the Bahamas now to now take into consideration of bringing 5G to the Bahamas? Um, or we should just continue to build on what we currently have now?
Well, to be honest, there's absolutely positively nothing that ties the corona pandemic to 5G, right? Um, in very broad layman term, 5G is a technology that was just introduced to the US last year, the middle of 2019, right?
Yeah.
It is still a relatively new technology, um, but you got to look at what a person's using 5G for. In many countries, persons use 5G for like AI, artificial intelligence. But AI has been around. AI has evolved so much over the last 2 years. You don't need 5G for it. For example, if you were to go onto a website and they have chat, you'll automatically see something that say, "Hey, good evening. How can I help you?" And that's artificial intelligence, something called bots, right?
Yeah.
So what they do is they put their top 15 or 20 questions as which you may ask. If you go, for example, the other day I wanted to find out about some travel on WestJet. So when I went to, so I downloaded that WhatsApp webpage and automatically it says, "Welcome to WestJet. How can I help you?" And I'm like, they said, "What do you want?" I said, "Ticket." They said, "Put in your ticket number." You put in your ticket number. "Hi, Dwayne, here's your ticket. How can I help you?" Right? So that's all artificial intelligence you're talking to. You don't need 5G for that. in the world of technology, everybody's ready for the next new hot thing,
Mm,
right? And as far as 5G in the Bahamas, no. As 5G being planned, it's difficult to say right now. But for example, if you're on the live network, minus the pandemic and the congestion, you could get speeds up to 30, 40, 50 megs,
yep.
right? So we're running a 4G LTE fast network. And when you look at the size of the Bahamas, you have a user population maybe 350, 380,000 persons. The question is, would any company do the necessary investment for, right? 5G around the world is still very, very new. I think Sprint was first in the US to actually launch it. But also, when you look at the Bahamas, the entire Bahamas, every island in the Bahamas, from Bimini all the way down to Inagua, has access to the 4G LT network. They have access to the same speed. You can't say the same for the US. There's some places in the US that still doesn't go above 3G, right?
Okay.
When I was down in Trinidad for Carnival, I never connected above 3G,
Wow.
right? There's still some countries in the Caribbean that doesn't have LTE 4G. So a lot of the network was one of the pure G LTE networks built in the world 2016. Right now, if you look at our costs for mobile service, it's still very competitive. My daughter was in school, and it was so expensive for her to get a plan. I think the cheapest plan we could get for was like $75. I think the cheapest one in the Alive network is like 20. It's like $30, right? And
Hmm.
she's like, Daddy, I don't need it because she's on Wi-Fi the entire time while she's in samples and everywhere she goes, right?
Hmm.
You also have connected cities as well too, and they'll talk about radiation. One of the studies that was done a while was that if you look at a tower, unless you automatically up in the crow's nest in the tower, you can have very little impact from radiation. You have radiation come from your phone. One of the biggest emitters of radiation is your microwave oven that everybody uses in the house on a daily basis, right? So radiation is there, but it's about the pandemic and the new water and the Illuminati's. I guess people are just home with a lot of free time in their hands, and people just
Right.
thinking about things. You'll be amazed. I think I was amazed on Facebook yesterday the amount of people that actually think that the coronavirus is putting the food population control, as well as it was put in the air to control people, or this is government to take over. But I don't know which government's going to break its country and citizens to try and take over. So I think when you're home, you think more of the crazy stuff that you might read or see in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing we've living in this digital age is information is comes at the speed of light almost, right? Almost real time instant. And so there's a lot of conspiracy theories that's out there, and I mean, you just type conspiracy, and then Google just gives you a whole plethora,
Yeah.
plethora of items that could possibly going on actually to this COVID-19 pandemic.
But then also too, when you look at technology and you look at usage, right? I think some of like the most popular applications you see on the network in the Bahamas would be other than a Netflix. You got Netflix, you got Amazon videos, you have YouTube, you have Instagram, you got Facebook. There's some good porn sites that people are bouncing around as well too. You got the gaming sites. And then, of course, the new thing now, even myself using that, you got Eyewitness News and Cable 12, and ZNS would broadcast the newscast live on the internet, right? So technology is advanced where so many persons are renting rooms or renting an apartment that they don't qualify for internet installation. So many of them don't have a home phone. Their only access to the world is via their cell phone.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually one of those persons. I really don't have a house phone, no, an office phone per se. So I just use all my cell phones to connect. So you're quite correct. But I want to take the conversation into I want to backtrack slightly a bit. And let's talk about businesses in the Bahamas. and
Sure.
whether or not do you think that businesses in Bahamas are now looking at um, integrating technology fully now, given this pandemic, into their business arena, and whether or not companies now or IT companies now are prepared for this demand that's going to be placed on the IT world.
Boy, Kim, unless you see something I don't see, I don't know. I've been in technology about 26, 27 years, and I've had my own business in those years, right? Uh, a lot of businesses, right? They don't see it as a benefit, right? When you look at many of our big retailers, very few of them have the ability to do online shopping, right? For example, right now there's no reason for anyone to be crowded in front of the supermarkets. Or right now Kelly's is closed, Commonwealth Building Supplies is closed. Why couldn't they stay open, close the storefront, but keep their warehouse, and you could order your stuff online, have it delivered, right? Sadly, a lot of let me share a story with you. I remember a couple of years ago, I ran this particular business, and I was advertising my business, and I was like, we could offer X, Y, Z. So I ran in, and the guys had come in doing an assessment. They had a little small closet with no proper air circulation, an old AS400 gathering dust,
Mm,
and basically his nephew, who says good at computers, basically he could plug up a computer and is an IT person, right? And so a lot of them is that if it doesn't break, don't fix it. So
yeah,
they'll keep that old system. I think a lot of companies went from Windows XP because Microsoft refused to support it anymore, right, on the desktop. Then they went to Windows 7, and a lot of companies stayed with Windows 7, and now Microsoft is forcing them to Windows 10. Sadly, in the Bahamas, a lot of businesses don't take technology serious. We saw that with Dorian. We're seeing that now with the COVID-19 pandemic. Um, there are a lot of good IT companies in the Bahamas, and there's a lot of possibilities for it, but there's also an underlying nature in the Bahamas and the fact that we love foreign, right? I've had clients bring in a foreign company to do what I could do, and they're good with that. They're good with going to the bank, buying some US dollars, doing the conversion, wiring it out. But I hope that this opened the eyes of a lot of people. I hope to see the Kellys and the Commonwealth Building Supplies and the AIDs and the Hannah's Plumbing and some of them develop a website. The same POS system that you use for the customer in the store, you could tie into a website and get a proper website. You know how many millions and millions and millions of dollars are left on the table because persons haven't embraced technology? You
yep,
know, Practically the distance, right? So if you're distancing and your storefront is closed, but your warehouse is open, what's to stop someone bringing a delivery to your house? You pay with your debit or credit card and you drop it on the porch, right? If you look at it, like this morning, I had to go out, and there's still long lines to go into the bank. I said to my wife the other day, I have not been to a teller machine in about 2 weeks because technically speaking, I didn't need any money. I
right.
pay all of my bills, my BBC, my Live, my every single BPL. I pay all my bills online, right? I utilize the app, and then on top of that, I pay a lot of them for credit card and get the points, right? And then pay the credit card off at the end of the month, and then you can use
Right,
those points for something else.
exactly. Eh, eh,
All
eh,
my
eh,
staff are required to have a bank account, so we pay them online. So there's absolutely, positively no need for me to go into a bank.
unless you can't even say even the deposit because now you could utilize the teller machines now to go ahead and do sorry, the ATM machines to go ahead and do just that.
Yeah, the only thing I was upset about was when they got rid of the fast deposit, because the fast deposit you run in, you get a check, you deposit it, a day or two is on your account. But other than that, there's no need for. I wish Bahamians would use. You got $1,000 iPhone or Samsung phone in your hand. Use it for something more than WhatsApp sharing and Facebook, right?
Right,
Use it to actually do some things. Like
right.
Amazon. We shop a lot with Amazon, with the shipping and so forth. So let's hope. that this pandemic opened some business eyes, and my son and Bay Shore is here to help. Also Alive and Caleb Bahamas also here for the data back end.
Yeah, and most definitely, I think uh, it's that time that all of these companies, even Sounders Consultants, will be able now to assist companies integrate
Hmm.
diverse technologies to bring
Hmm.
forward innovative and new ways to operate your business. And I want to give a shout out right now to all of Tech Thursday sponsors. Tech Thursday is sponsored by Sounders Consultants Limited, implementing IT solutions that fit. Bahamas IP, TV, and communication solutions for all your IP TV needs. And a live sponsor us. So if you haven't, if you need a top up or anything, dial 611. Go to the app or go to their websites and give them and get yourself sorted out with whatever data plan you need. So
And that's
thank
the
you,
thing too,
sponsors.
yeah, because with Alive, even though the stores are closed, if you have the app, and we have the new app now,
Right.
to be honest, we've had some persons have challenges with the new app because a couple things. Number one, if you had an older model phone, like a J2, J3, J6 or whatever, you may not have been able to download the app from the website, but we have a file that we can put on your phone and you'll be able to use it, right?
Okay.
We had some complaints about security and the app a couple of months ago. So what we did was we put a two-factor authentication, just like you would like if you go into Amazon or anything that involves money.
Right.
So what the Alive app allows you to do is you can put your debit and credit card in. If you click auto renew, when your plan is due, it automatically takes the plan off of your debit or credit card. Right. We have the app. If you have a postpaid account with Alive, we have something called AutoPay. So if you put your credit or debit card in the app, it automatically takes the balance due at the end of each month, so you don't have to worry about going to the bank, right? Also, if you have a child or someone that you want to send money to, we get the transfer feature. We have the
Okay.
auto top up feature. So we have all of those features are there. And then also, one of the things that we don't advertise much is also there, like BTC, is the USSD. So you do star 200 or star 201, and you're able to also do some of the same things from the app, utilizing the older model phone and USSD.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So I mean, we really appreciate what Alive is doing during this time as relates to keeping to network up or sustain the network to a particular point that persons are able to the minimum which they require in terms of internet
Hmm.
requirements, along with Care Bahamas. Because I know right now I'm utilizing both services to carry out the stream.
uh,
So, so, I really appreciate you coming on tonight and discussing with us. Do you know if there's any sneak previews that Behemoths need to look for as relates to Live? Do you guys have any packages coming out? Any sneak peeks, or do we
yeah,
just have to wait and see?
I mean, no, right now we got the buy three get one free data package.
Okay,
Um, you will also see some innovations coming up. Don't want to preempt it right now, but we're always
right,
pushing the envelope, right? You can also see us get a lot more community based,
yep,
right? We've been going to the local parks on the weekends and, face painting and cotton candy and sweets and so forth on the parks. But we know there's one thing we want to address, right? For example, we have these mobile boxes, these MiFi boxes, right? And we
mm-hmm,
know a lot of persons have been utilizing them during this time as well too. Now, the difference between a mobile box and a phone is that on our network, a phone traffic is prioritized. So your phone can do everything a mobile box will do. So technically speaking, a portable Wi-Fi box would be, for example, if you have a child who wants to do homework or who wants to do something that you got a little small black one, they can attach their laptop to it. Or we have the device like what you would use, which is the high-end um, corporate device that can also run the business, right?
right,
But once again, congestion plays a role. So if you're in a neighborhood and if you have 10 MiFi boxes and 100 phone users, the boxes are going to consume a lot more bandwidth than the phone. So we tell persons that, look, if you have a MiFi box, still put a plan on your phone. So at least with the MiFi box buffer, you can always switch over to your phone, have access and data phone as well too, right?
Right.
And I just want to say on behalf of Live, we know some customers have been frustrated with getting on the network, or if they're on the network, they see slow speeds. That could be congestion. That could be the fact you've utilized all the data on your box. That data might slow down. Something that we work on every single day. We tweaking the network. A couple of things. So it doesn't do is with us. Have a little bit of patience. And when you do call 611, I guarantee you that every single is escalated to my time, so we're able to research it and help you with it.
All right. So,
So stay tuned. There's going to be some nice stuff coming down the pipe. Yeah, man.
Indeed. All right, Dwayne. So I had an issue with our Facebook feed, but there's no other questions on the YouTube feed. But I really appreciate you coming out and discussing with us tonight as to what Alive is doing to help with this pandemic, COVID-19. I foresee that we're going to be like this for another 60 days. That's what I foresee.
At least.
And at least. Yeah. And so the aim is we have to be patient. We have to prioritize. We just can't go live just because we want to go live sake. But we have to make sure that we exercise prudence as relates to the internet usage and this and next thing, I'm sure I know I've seen some pictures, Dwayne, with you and the family washing cars and doing one of the little home improvements around the house.
Yeah.
I say, Lord, look at my boy playing with wires and water.
I did so much work around the house the first weekend and then the last weekend I was walking around looking for things. I might probably start painting next, but I would just encourage everyone. I don't think you're going to see a change for another 90 days, right? Because all the cruise ships until at least the end of May. All the hotels until the second week in May. And I would rather people live than make a bunch of money, because you know what? No matter how much money you have, this virus doesn't destroy everybody goes. So let's try and see if we could at least stay in, minimize the spread, practice the social distancing, wash your hands. It's sad that you got to tell people wash their hands, but wash your hands, and I think we're gonna be okay on the other side.
Yeah, I think so too. One of the things that Sounders Consultants is trying to help with this pandemic, and this is going to cause another congestion on the network, is come Wednesday during the full lockdown, we're going to launch a trivia game whereby there are 10 questions, multiple choice questions, and the first person to answer fastly and correctly, there are points, and it now shows you exactly how much points you gain and where you rank inside of the game. And so we're looking to launch that officially come Wednesday night during the official lockdown for the 24 hours, 5-day curfew. So we expect that we're going to add to that network congestion. The game, we could allow up to 1,000 persons to play at a given time. So we're looking forward to seeing how much behemoths know. There are various topics, behemoth topics. You have some cooking topics. You have some live questions. You have some just common sense questions. It's just a fun trivia, and just to keep people's minds off of this COVID-19 and engaged and learning in a very fun way. So we're very excited to launch that come Wednesday night.
Well, that's it. I'm sure you remind me. I'll hop on myself and check it out with you.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Hopefully one of these nights I'll probably actually even the host a game show one night.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we could do it at the headquarters. You let me know when you want to do it, and we'll set it up and give away some stuff. So let me know.
All right, sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. All right, Dwayne. Again, I thank you for coming on tonight and sharing with us, sharing with the Bahamas what Alive is doing. We really appreciate you guys during this time. We utilize the service, and we are very patient to know that this is a new pandemic and this is a new challenge for Alive. And Alive are making headway to resolve and to mitigate this congestion moving forward, as this is something that was never seen, never imagined in nobody's mind.
No,
You know,
no. This the new This the new regular.
yeah, 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 yeah. So again, I really appreciate you taking time out tonight, and I wish you all the best. You and your team, keep fighting a good fight. And again, come Wednesday night, we are going to add some more congestion to your network.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Also, thank you and Sanders Consulting, because we use you quite a bit for when we're doing remote stuff. So not only do we sponsor, we also support your business as well too.
Yes.
So for us, we support young Bahamian businesses, and I think this show is a good idea. I think we've been partnering now about 2 years, a year or two now, and
Yes.
we've had some fun with. So invite me on some more, and let's have some fun, eh?
Indeed, indeed, will do. All right, good night,
All right, buddy.
Facebook. Thank
Take
you
care.
guys
Eh?
for tuning in. And we will see you guys on Wednesday nights for Beat the Clock. Good night, everybody.